Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's virtual plant clinic. My name is Bill Lester. I'm with University of Florida Extension Service here in Hernando County, and with me today are my two regular co-hosts, Colby Pitts, who is our county's Florida-friendly landscape coordinator, and Bernie, one of our master gardeners. You guys need to talk for a moment because I need to fix something with the stream here. So if I look confused, it's because I'm confused.
Very good. Uh, Lost another one of my palm trees, Colby. It's getting sad. They're dying. There's too many diseases out there, and palms are getting to be very expensive.
I couldn't go outside. I couldn't be outside.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
I can appreciate
Have
that.
so when you're picking out palm trees, is there any specific varieties that you might recommend that would be, adverse to those diseases?
Well, the problem is pretty much all the palm trees that are satisfactory for our climate here are susceptible. So um, we've pretty much got a disease for just about every one of them at this point. So it's amazing how that function goes. Uh, yeah, the cabbage palms all over the county are going like mad, and they go pretty quick. So um, you know they disintegrate within a period of 2 weeks between being healthy looking and being gone. So that's pretty bad. My queen palm took a little longer to die. I knew that it was dying, but unfortunately, most of the diseases on queen palms are not treatable. So it uh, lets you watch it for a long period of time and knowing that there's nothing you can do. It's kind of sad, but I'm amazed at people that keep spending a lot of money on palm trees and then abusing the heck out of them, doing the hurricane cut, uh, uh, or the pineapple cut. The pineapple cut's a neat one because the tree produces some pheromones that attract the insect that provide the pure death. So, uh, you know, they are beautiful, but they're getting to be really bad. It's like citrus. They'll eventually find some palm trees that will work here again, and it'll all start over. But it really tends to be cyclic because as soon as something works well, something comes along and takes it out, and then something cures that, and just keeps going.
hmm and that's pretty par for the course for a lot of stuff. You know, like you'll develop the insects will develop resistances, and then you'll get resistant to the thing that you're using now. So you come up with some other new thing to get them, but then they've lost the resistance to the old thing, and they like these plants, but they don't like and it's just like you said, it's all very very cyclic. I mean, I'm sure the humans have been doing this type of thing for thousands of years at this point.
Yes, we have.
It's like the landscape plants. The things that people have used for hedges have changed. You can't use copper plant here; it's a little too cold. Uh, the Pistoforum worked okay, but everybody kind of got tired of that. And uh, viburnums have their little fungal problems, and uh, red tip photinia was really big, but the fire blight came along and pretty well wiped those out. So all the things that if you're a older Floridian, what you saw when you were a kid was pretty much all gone at this point, and the new plants are about to be done, and we'll cycle back and pick up those old ones. Somebody will come up with resistance for photinia, for instance, and it'll be the big thing until the new disease comes along for it, and it just keeps going, and it is a great thing for people like us because we get to look and see what's happening. We get to hear about all of the problems ahead of everybody else. So when our people call, we can say, you have Asian cycad scale, for instance. And, you know, uh, 20 years ago, there wasn't a business in town that didn't have a Sago someplace uh, prominently displayed. and now you don't see them at all. And it all had to do with a little bug. So amazing how that works. I understand you've got a new bug to tell us about, Doctor.
Yes, I do. I have it all queued up here. I just got an email about this this morning, and figured we'd take the opportunity to share this here. Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. It is a pest alert on the 2-spot cotton leafhopper. Now, I see Buddy's on with us here today, and Buddy's up in the Panhandle. You know, we grow cotton in Florida, not a lot, and it's all way up in the Panhandle, very edges bumping up against Georgia and bumping up against Alabama, but we do grow some cotton. And there is invasive leafhopper that's a problem with it. The problem with this is it is also a pest on okra and roselle, which is becoming more popular. It's a variety of hibiscus that you make the Florida cranberries out of. Could be a problem on sunflowers, eggplant, tomatoes, peppers, and they're asking that people keep an eye out for this pest. And if you see it or have it, contact your extension office. We can contact Florida Department of Agriculture, because they're very interested in figuring out exactly where it is, where it isn't, where it's going, and what's going on. So if we scroll down here, they do have some pictures. There is the leafhopper, and it's the 2-spotted cotton leafhopper. And if you look on its back wings there's 2 spots. That's probably how it got its name. And it's a problem on different Caribbean islands. You see a picture here, damage to okra in Antigua. There's it's a problem in Puerto Rico also. Damage to more okra, cotton, damage to sunflowers. And you see the bottom left-hand picture here. That's what it looks like on okra, and that is a very tiny insect. So it's not going to be really huge. It might not be really noticeable. You might need a magnifying glass or a hand lens to see it. You know, in my yard right now, I still have some leftover okra. I have tomatoes. I don't have cotton, obviously. And I have a hibiscus, an ornamental flowering hibiscus in the front yard. So I'm going to try to remember to grab leaves and samples off of all of them and bring them in next week and look at them under the microscope just to make sure I don't have this leafhopper. So I'm sure that we will be sharing this on Facebook, but if you're growing any of those kind of plants, be on the lookout for a new leafhopper pest. Now, obviously, that's not going to be a problem up there in Pennsylvania where Lily is. Good morning, Lily. How are you? I don't want to hear about it being cold. I'm in my office right now, and it is freezing in here. I have my coat on. I might put my coat back on halfway through here because it is just freezing in my office. Colby, are you cold over there too?
They like to keep the heat running, so it's a very temperate, like 72 right now.
Must be nice. Our building, every room is a different temperature. I'm sure if I walk into the bathroom right now, it's about 90 in there, but it's far lower in here. It's freezing inside, and it's still freezing outside also. So,
getting up this morning, it was difficult. It was really, really cold. It was crazy yesterday. It hit in almost the middle of the day. I remember I went to lunch and it was 72, and I got back and after it rained, it's 70. I'm like, man, that's weird.
Yeah.
I walked outside when I got off work and it was 63. I was like, geez Louise.
Early, like pre-sunrise yesterday, it was about 68, I think, outside of my house. So
I wanted to hear about low temperatures. I wouldn't live in Florida.
Yeah, you live in Pennsylvania where they have a high of 24 today and a wind chill of 10. I would die. I would just roll over and die, I think, in that.
And she did that by choice. That's even
I know. She wasn't
part.
forced to or anything. Well, I'm sure traffic was light. Not many people heading up there. Traffic is heavy with all them heading down here. So, hey guys, for everybody watching live, as always, if you have any lawn and garden questions, please feel free to go ahead and ask, and we will do our best to answer them between whining about the cold. And I see Teresa shared a link here. I'm not sure what that link is for. But don't forget, we have Teresa in the background here this morning helping us out with pulling up more University of Florida information to help answer your questions. So hopefully nobody's lawn or landscape or plantings have been devastated by the cold. If you live north of Hernando County, it's gotten even colder. Here, I live in Spring Hill, and I don't think we've really gotten below freezing, but we've gotten so close to freezing where I have ice on my car and damage to individual leaves. I think my okra is about shot. Okra likes to grow during the heat of summer here. It doesn't like this kind of weather very much, but nothing too devastating. And if you're well south of us, you're probably laughing and everything in your yard looks great because it's still growing because you haven't gotten as cold as we have.
The master gardeners just left on a field trip going up to the landfill to see the compost manufacturing facility. The county, as I understand it, has released the compost to the general public, and you can now show up with your pickup truck. They'll load it up with compost. You can go home and start getting your garden beds all set and be ready for your spring planting. So, for those of you that are looking for something to do, might be a good idea. It'd be a good time. Stay out of the stores at Christmas time. It's terrible unless you're a professional shopper. Go get some the new compost and start getting ready. It won't be long. Usually the really bad weather occurs right around that week of Christmas. Then it starts getting a little better. February will get really hot, just tricky, a little bad stuff again, maybe late March or April, and then you should have everything going solid. It'll be time, and everybody will rush around saying, "Oh my God, I just didn't get it done in time." So now's the time to start.
Very good point. People wait until it gets cold and it's obviously winter to go, "Oh, it's very cold outside in this winter. What should I plant in my winter garden right now?" And from a lot of things, it's like, sorry, it's too late.
Too late.
And then in the spring, when it warms up and it's nice and hot, oh, wow, it's nice and hot and spring-like outside. What do I plant for spring? At that point, it's like, I'm sorry, you're too late. So you have to plan for these things and get them in at the right time. You can still go out there and plant radishes, lettuce. Right now, you could squeeze in most everything: broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, any kind of leafy greens, if you get them planted very, very soon. But before you know it, even though it seems like winter just really got here in force just recently, before you know it, winter will be gone and spring will be here or coming here. But yeah, that compost program is great. And like Lily points out here, that me and Carmen and Lily have all been promising that compost for years. It took a little while to get the financing for it, and they've been making compost out there for a bit, but it took a little bit of practice how to kind of get it down and actually end up with quality compost as the end result product. And now finally it is available for the public to go up there and pick up. Teresa, if you have a second, if you look on Facebook, if you could find post on that and find a link, see if you can share it in the chat, because they do have information on Facebook about the hours and the location and everything about picking up that
Yeah.
free compost for Hernando County residents.
I was going to give a little bit of the information on that. They so that's from 8 to 3 Monday to Saturday. You can go, if you have a truck, they'll load it into your truck or trailer with a loader. If you don't have a truck, you can bring a shovel and a bucket and load it up yourself.
Yep.
It seems, and there's a comment on there on the county Facebook page that all caps that just talks about, are they doing XYZ to keep the weeds out? So let me remind everybody that the compost and the mulch are two completely different things. That mulch is the yard waste that you see put out. I know my day's on Friday. It's out front, bundles, sticks, weeds, things like that. That mulch is that ground up. The compost is different. That typically, right, Bill's not going to have the weed seeds because it's hot compost, right? It's not going to have your weed seeds,
Exactly. If it
nothing
was
to worry about there.
properly composted, it gets up to about 165 degrees, and it's going to kill the weed seeds, the disease pathogens. They can't guarantee. I mean, it's really hard to guarantee a big pile of compost doesn't have a single weed seed in it. But if it has any at all, it won't have many. And I'm not sure what kind of guarantees they're making. That's up to them.
I don't know that they're making any, but I will say that the mulch and the compost, two completely different things. So don't worry. I would say you don't have to worry about getting, some massive weed infestation from the compost. The mulch, on the other hand, that's kind of no telling what you're going to get there.
Yeah, the mulch is whatever
it's
you
just
get.
Ground up yard waste. That's all it is.
Yep.
Yeah, I would think that it would make sense to use a pre-emergent on the mulch. That's one of those things. There's some pretty nasty seeds that are fairly common in the county that if you don't have them, you don't want to bring them in. And that includes things like air potato and skunk vine and thistle that are just real nuisances. And the cost of pre-emergent is not very much, and in most cases it would be very simple to just hit the mulch with a little pre-emergent and save yourself the potential problem. So.
And we're talking about the preparation there. You really want to have a plan. I think it's important that even if you put it on your calendar, like, hey, this weekend I'm doing this throughout the start of the year. And Bernie, what time, just on your yard, what's a good time to do that pre-emergent treatment to keep those weeds out?
Well, the sad part about it is the ideal time is just before the weed seeds are going to germinate. And unfortunately, we can't tell that exact. But my recommendation is to do pre-emergent a couple of times. Hit it earlier, mid-January. Hit it earlier or not early, mid or late March. Those two times do you a lot of good. Also, there's some winter annuals. It doesn't hurt if you've got a lot of winter weeds to use a pre-emergent again in September. So, pre-emergent is a wonderful product. Doesn't hurt anything. Doesn't kill anything. People misunderstand what it's doing. You won't see any difference if you put pre-emergent down. Because it doesn't get rid of anything, it only stops things from happening. The pre-emergent has its effect. Next year, things look better, and if you do that for 2 or 3 years, eventually things look pretty good. But it's nothing where you're going to get great results. It's not like Roundup where you go out and you spray it, and in 2 weeks everything is gone and it's brown and it's dead. Nothing like that will happen with pre-emergent. Pre-emergent only stops the seeds from germinating. So, very important thing. If you want good weed control in the lawn, that's probably where you need to start. And then the thing that happens is if you do the math, your lawn, let's say it has 100,000 seeds per square yard that are sitting there waiting for the opportunity to germinate. If you hit them with pre-emergent and it's very effective, it only kills maybe 90% of those seeds. So now we go from 100,000 down to 1,000. And next year we do it again. Well, we've added some seeds over the season, so we had 2,000, but when we hit it with the pre-emergent, we go from 2,000 down to 20. Now, in the third year, if we do the pre-emergent again, we're down to 1 or 2 weeks. Well, you can bend over and pick those up if they happen to show up. So you don't see anything dramatic in the first year, but it starts showing up really nicely in the second and third year.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, you do it early in the season for the summer annuals. You do it in the fall for the winter annuals, and we have both. If you have a Bahia lawn, and it's like most people's Bahia, you haven't done a tremendous job of taking care of it, it starts to get pretty weedy. And if you let the weeds go, the weeds eventually are going to take over. So, the cheapest thing you can put on the lawn that really gives you some benefit is pre-emergent. And if you need pre-emergent, if you're showing some weeds, you need to make it a 3-year plan, and it should pretty well clean things up. So that's my thoughts for now.
Yeah, and I've spoken with people before who have had problems with sandspur, which nobody thinks about sandspur until like early fall when the seeds are mature and hard and you and your pets start stepping on them. That's when it becomes a huge concern. But the time to control it is way, way, way back earlier, like in February, when that sandspur is just coming up and emerging for spring and summer. And I've talked to a number of people who it takes them a few years, but between hand pulling it and pre-emergence and being diligent, have gotten rid of 99% of it. You can't get rid of 100% of it, but you can get really good control where it's not a dangerous yard filled with sandspurs and you're having to carry your dog around because they don't want to walk on the grass.
Yeah, and when you're going to the store, these things are going to be labeled pre-emergent, post-emergent, etc. Not to say any brand names or anything, but I think what do they recommend? Like it's like the Metribuzin, this Sima. I can't remember the name of the other one, but like
there's a couple of them. Teresa put a link to a blog post there that should have more actual trade names and active ingredient.
Great, yeah. So, but you can find it even not knowing those chemical names. Like you can go in there and it'll say pre-emergent herbicide for broadleaf weeds or something of that sort. And that's just important that you don't just go buy the first herbicide you see. There's different herbicides for different things, as we've talked about. Read that label. That label is super important.
If you don't read the label, you may make a big mistake and end up with a dead lawn. We've seen that happen a few times.
Well, so many people don't understand what the problem they're having is. So they use an insecticide when they should be using a fungicide. They use a herbicide when they should have been using a fungicide. So so many people use the wrong product, and it is confusing. You go into one of the big box stores, and there's a whole area of things to put on the lawn, and if they had their way, you would buy one of every one of them.
Yeah.
And you couldn't put too much stuff on the lawn. Well, if you have any questions, give us a call. That's what we do is answer questions. That's basically our purpose in life. And we love to do that. I just think it's wonderful when somebody calls and they say, I'm looking at XYZ product and I'm having this problem. Is that the right thing? Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that's what we know. That's what the information that we can pass on. So don't ever be afraid to ask.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys are watching us right now on a live stream on the internet, I'm sure that you can really, if you have any questions like that you need to answer quickly, you can just Google the name. If you Google that active ingredient, it'll tell you exactly what that herbicide does in pretty plain language. Mm-hmm. So if you're confused at all, it's a Google search away, really. And as long as you're make sure that you're either on the manufacturer website or university website. You'll get good information. You'll know what this herbicide is actually meant for.
And all the manufacturers and all the different products have 1-800 numbers also. So if you read the label and you're still confused, you're not really sure, should I use this on my lawn? They have a phone number, and I think it's 24/7. I mean, don't try it at 2 or 3 in the morning, but you can call. I've spoken with people who have called the manufacturer before to find out even more information, or if they're still not sure. So don't go just kind of guessing or hoping for the best.
Yeah, if you're contemplating herbicide at 2 or 3 in the morning, maybe sleep on it and get back to it in the morning.
And so many times the product label tells you in cases, for this particular plant, you use a high amount, maybe 2 ounces per gallon or whatever, to cover so many thousand square feet or hundreds of square feet or whatever. And that's an optimum number. I mean, they have spent a lot of money to find out what works best. And doubling that won't necessarily work best. In fact, it probably won't. I know with Roundup, a lot of times people want to double the amount of Roundup. Oh, if 4 ounces was good, I want to really use a lot. Well, that 4 ounces could cover an acre. So they've already determined that there's some amount that works optimum. So you burn the top of the plant up and you don't kill the roots. The idea in that particular product is it's absorbed by the green portions of the plant. It's sent to the roots. Takes it about 8 to 10 days before you have total brownout. And you don't see it really quick. And people get really upset. I sprayed 2 days ago and nothing's happened. So the next time they spray, they use 8 times as much. They're almost using concentrated Roundup as a spray. That really didn't work. The manufacturer in every case has gone to a lot of effort to get that label approved. The label is an actual law. Following the label is a legal requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And if they give you a usage amount, they give you a usage amount because they have determined and proven to the federal government that this amount is an optimum amount, and that is what should be used. So, if you're a farmer and you're putting it on the thing and it says you can use 2 ounces per acre or 4 ounces per acre on varying conditions, that you got 100 acres and this stuff that you're using is $182 a gallon. You're not going to deviate from that, coupled with the fact that in order to keep your license, you have to follow the exact laws and you have to keep records of what you're doing. Homeowners aren't under the same rules as far as record keeping. So you can take it home, you can drink it if you wanted to. If you die,
we don't recommend doing that though.
And find out.
It tells you not to do that on the label. So,
but it'll tell you not to do that. So, but I'm just a big promoter of follow the label. And the reason I'm such a big promoter is that I'm one of those people that initially I thought if 2 ounces is good, 10 ounces would be better. And I wasted a lot of money to find out that isn't true. If 2 ounces is right, 2 ounces is best. So
well, and the thing is like you said, that they spend a whole lot of money in research and development to develop these, and not just to prove to the government. They want the next season, they want you to say, "Hey, that really worked. I'll buy that again."
Yeah.
So it's really, I can't stress enough how important it is that you, especially when you're using those like the concentrates, where you're responsible for mixing it up. Like don't just wing it. Like listen to the label. It'll tell you exactly how you're supposed to mix it up. With any of those concentrated herbicides, the exact amount of water, the exact percentage of your water volume is supposed to be herbicide. It tells you exactly step by step how to do it. So just, I know the label can look a little bit daunting. It is a lot of words, but a lot of it is kind of jargon. It's at the very beginning. It says, use it like this, wear this PPE, mix it like this, and it works on these plants. And there you go. It's on like the very first page in the top, like the top left corner of that inner label.
It's all in there. Or you can just enjoy your freedom lawn like I do. Mine's, I don't know, during the summer, about 75% Bahia, 25% everything else. Weeds, fog fruit, little native flowers, a big patch of wild Bermuda in the backyard. So I have, depending on where in the yard you're looking, a variety of different stuff growing. But during the summer, it's green, and I cut it, and I bag up all the clippings, and they get turned into compost and mulch, which goes into my vegetable garden. So I don't waste it. I'm just moving it from one part of the yard to a different part of the yard, but it stays in my yard. And that's what I do. That's what Lily used to do. It's funny because neither one of us had a perfect looking lawn, and I'd have to deal with people who come in here. I had a weed in my yard. What do I spray? Well, why don't you just bend over and pick it up? It's just a weed.
Do you fertilize?
No, I've never fertilized the lawn. I do the vegetable garden.
Yeah, I can understand it in a vegetable garden, but
Yeah, and I have palm fertilizer for the palms, and I have citrus fertilizer for my Myers lemon tree, which has greening, so it's not going to get fertilized anymore. I need to do something about that. And that's about it, really.
if you keep fertilizing it until the fruit's bad, they'll hang on an extra couple of years.
It's looking rough, and I have a kind of limited space in the backyard. I'm gonna get one of the greening resistant ones and just do it soon this spring to get some kind of citrus before the next century, I guess.
And I don't. I have a mixture lawn. I think mine's probably 60% Bahia grass, 25%. I have some St. Augustine. My neighbors have St. Augustine.
Yeah, it runs.
Made its way over to my yard, and then I got some crabgrass. I got all kinds of stuff. And like you said, it's brown right now, but in the summer it's nice and green. I mow it, and my lawnmower collects all the clippings in there. So I put those in the flower bed. But I don't fertilize, and I don't use herbicide at home. So I think it's definitely a lot less effort, but I don't live in an HOA. I don't live somewhere where I'm required to have that immaculate lawn for most of the year. So everyone's situation might be a little bit different. So, but in my situation, it works out that it's pretty easy to keep it green in the summer. And I haven't mowed it in like a month. It's really nice.
I haven't mowed in a couple months since maybe Halloween-ish.
I mowed it right at the end of Halloween, and I was like, I don't have to do this again this year.
Nope. I get the rest of the winter off from having to push that mower around. Good exercise, but it's a little old every week during the summer. So if you live in a homeowners association and your lawn and landscape has to meet a higher standard, we understand and we feel for you, and we can definitely help you out with your questions and problems that you have in that situation. It's just really important sometimes to stop and think about, well, what is my goal? Do I just want stuff to cover the dirt out front? I'm going to cut it. That's fine. Does it have to look absolutely immaculate, perfect because I live in a certain neighborhood and the committee that oversees the lawns is very, very, very strict? We understand that, and that's fine. If you live in a homeowners association, you should have known there were rules. At closing, you had to sign a copy of those rules saying that you would abide by them. So I'm sorry, but the rules are the rules. If you don't like them, it's always a good idea, if you're not happy with your homeowners association, to get involved. Go out there and run for office, make a difference, be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. Other than that, I see things on Facebook. Somebody says, I moved to Florida, I live in a neighborhood, my HOA says I can't plow under my entire front yard and put in native plants. And everybody else chimes in, oh, they should, or there's laws saying they have to allow you to do whatever you want. Well, no, there isn't. They can still have rules dictating how much of your property has to be turf grass and how much of it can be, other materials. They can still make rules. And, if you're not allowed to plant corn in your entire front yard, it's because they have a rule against that, and should have read the rules a little closer before you moved in. So that's the lecture for you people who live in HOAs for today. If you're in a really tight situation, reach out to your extension office. For everybody watching us all over Florida, we're right here in Hernando County, but no matter where in Florida you are, you have an extension office. There's 67 counties in Florida, 67 extension offices. So I guess we don't tell people to look in the phone book anymore, do we? We don't have phone books. So look online and find out the phone number and the address. And no matter where you live in Florida, you have an office that covers you. Trust me, if you're in the Panhandle, if you're in South Florida, they know your county better than I do. I know Hernando and surrounding counties really well. But reach out to your office and ask them your question, and they'll be more than happy to give you an answer.
I've had people, had a woman from Denver that called, and she was raising caladiums, and she had them potted and kept them inside. And for some reason, they didn't know anything about caladiums at the Denver Extension office. They told her to call someplace that would know. And she just found our number. So over a period of about 5 years, I guess I talked to her 2 or 3 times a year.
Wow.
And she grew several plants that should only be in Florida, and she was happy. Apparently, we were giving her the right information, and the plants were still living. So, but we get a few, and if they had called and she'd want to know about ponderosa pine or something, unfortunately, we know almost nothing about those plants. And by the same token, somebody up in New York is not going to do very much good on tropicals. So contact somebody in your local area and get good local advice. Don't pay any attention to your neighbor, because your neighbor doesn't know any more than you do. Actually, you're probably smarter than your neighbor. So
yes, because you watch the virtual plant clinic on a weekly basis. Let's see, I got a phone call about a Sylvester palm from a gentleman in New Orleans once before. Got a call from a gentleman about palms, and he sent me pictures, and it looked like a Washingtonia, a really tall one. So I gave him some information, suggested a soil test, and he said, well, where do I go for soil tests? And I said, well, where do you live? And he said, I live in LA. So, and it turns out that I know and work with the state master gardener coordinator in California. So I was able to send his email to her and help him out. So we do this stuff nationwide some days. So I'm putting up our contact information on the screen here for anybody watching us live, or if you're watching us recorded, feel free to reach out and contact us. Follow us on Facebook. I am starting to schedule classes and events coming up in the coming year, and I'm putting it all on Facebook bit by bit as I work it in my schedule. Our Master Gardener Nursery is open Wednesdays and Saturdays, 8:30 in the morning until noon. There is the address. They have a great selection of Florida-friendly and native plants. in mid-January, we will have Arbor Day coming up there. We are giving away free trees, 3-gallon Blue Jack oaks. Have you guys ever heard of a Blue Jack oak?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't very familiar with them, but it was one of the possibilities that we could choose from. So we have 50 of them to give away. Look up on Facebook, and you have to register for the tree. And we're going to have an online class the week before Arbor Day. But all the information you need is right there on our Facebook page. Let me go back to it once again. And we will have 3-gallon Blue Jack oaks. It's a nice native oak tree. Produces acorns that the wildlife really enjoys. It will eventually become a fairly large oak tree without being nearly as wide as a live oak, because everybody has a live oak. Old houses have live oaks. New home construction, they buy live oaks by the flatbed tractor trailer load, plunking in live oaks. Guys, there's probably 24 different oak trees that you could plant. And live oaks are just one of those. So a lot of other great varieties to choose from. As always, we have a lot of past classes that have been recorded and are on the Hernando County Government's YouTube channel. And you can go on there and you can look up the tab for Florida Friendly Landscaping and the one for Hernando County Extension. We have lots and lots of recorded ones on there. In Hernando County, we are without a videographer at the moment, so we're not adding anything new to it right now. But hopefully this spring, once we start doing more classes, we'll get some new fresh material up there. And if you ever want to contact Colby, there is his link tree. So you can go there for information about our monthly rain barrel classes that we have here in Hernando County, and also our compost bin classes. We do them together at the same time. Or if you need to email him directly, boom, there's his email address. You can just shoot him an email.
I did want to remind everyone, so starting in January, we're starting our water awareness speaker series back up that you can find at the link tree that we just had on the screen. The first one, I believe, is winter lawn care and winter gardening. That's going to be the first topic. Refreshments going to be provided, free to attend. I think it's going to be a good time. Really interesting topics, and that's going to go every single month. That's on I think the first or second Wednesday of the month. And then rain barrels. Those are going to be typically on the second Fridays of the month. Although we do have one in February. I think it's going to be on a Saturday. If you're
that is on. That's
February
not on. No, that's not on Arbor Day. Arbor Day is in January.
February 8th.
We're just doing that. Saturday, February 8th, we will have a compost and rain barrel class at our Master Garden Nursery.
Mm-hmm.
On a Saturday, if you have to work, you'll be able to attend that one.
And starting this year, we're doing something a little bit different with how we register for those. So if you are interested in registering, just my email is just up. You can just send me an email or give me a call. My phone number is out there. If you go on our Hernando County website, all that information's there. On the link tree, there's a thing that says Rain Barrel Workshops. You click on that, it'll take you right to the spot, give you all the information that you need.
And before we wrap up today, I wanted to make a special mention. This past weekend, we had a little celebration here. We had our annual Master Gardener holiday party, and we gave out awards. And Colby, you know that Bernie won an award here. Picture's a little blurry. I didn't take it, but that's Bernie getting the Bernology Award, which is the first annual Bernology Award. Give me a second. I got a picture of it. And this is what the award looks like. So the first one went to Bernie. So it is a Lifetime Achievement Award. And aptly named the Bernology Award. So congratulations, Bernie. We're very, very happy to hand that out to you.
Thank
Bernie,
you very much.
congratulations.
Thank you. I will say that this has probably been one of the best learning experiences of my life. I have really enjoyed. You're around people that are very knowledgeable, much more knowledgeable than you are yourself, and if you enjoy learning things, this is the place, because not only is there all the things that we have learned historically, but there's constant new things. There are new plants coming in all the time.
New plant hoppers,
New insects, new diseases, new techniques. It's just amazing. And we've got an entire university behind us, and you don't realize all the things the university is doing until you get to be a part of it. And I have really enjoyed being a part of it. So thank you.
Well, Bernie, we enjoy having you on here every Thursday along with us. And once again, congratulations. I think we're going to wrap it up here in just a moment. So if anybody has any last minute questions, and Colby, thank you so much for removing that spam in the contents. Sorry if you're watching us live. On a very, very rare occasion, people will post kind of spammy comments on there, and we do our very best to monitor it and take it down. But hey, guys, this is the internet. It is the Wild West.
An air for their millions, and I had to moderate that one real quick.
So we will be back here again next Thursday at 10 a.m. and we're supposed to have a special guest with us here next week. A new extension agent over in Sumter County, Madeline, will be here with us, so be sure to tune in. I believe after that, gosh, isn't Christmas coming up at some point soon?
Pretty soon, I think.
Okay.
And it's on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's I actually will not. It's kind of funny that you'll still have a Sumter County person on with me gone, but I actually won't be here next week. I have a class at Chinsegut.
Okay.
If you're interested to hear me talk about butterflies, please go out to the out of Chinsegut next Thursday at 10, and then I'm off work the week after, so I'm gonna have a little hiatus.
Yes, we will be here again next week, and then we will be off on December 26th. And the week after that is going to be January 2nd. I'm back to work January 2nd, so we'll go ahead and do it. And I will try even harder to line up regular guests. I speak with a lot of people, and I mention it to them. They say, yeah, as soon as I have a free Thursday. It's just everybody's busy on Thursdays, so. But we'll try our best. So if you're watching a recording of this and you want to reach out to us with any questions, I already showed all of our emails and contact information. Just reach out and we'll do our very best to help you figure out what your lawn and landscape problem is. But other than that, guys, everybody have a great week. Stay warm today and for the next week. And we will see you back here again next Thursday morning at 10. Bye, guys.